Hi Capricorn, and welcome to your reading for January 2019. Happy New Year! My name is Melanie, and today I'm using two different decks of cards. The first one being the Tattoo Tarot Ink and Intuition set, and the cards of which you can see some out there already. And the second deck I use is called the Dreamtime Reading Cards, and I use them more as a oracle cards, and I'll be pulling a card from that deck at the end of the reading. We'll do a shuffle, we'll pull one for an overall theme, and I'll be reading out a little blurb from the little booklet here, the Dreamtime Reading Cards Connect with the Ancient Spirit and Nature of Australia. So this is just a reminder, this is a general reading, so it may resonate with some people, it may not resonate with others. That's totally fine. Take what you like and leave the rest. And I'm just going to dive right into it. So, 5 cards today, and the first one being your past energy, where you've come from. You guys have the 5 of Wands for that. Second card there represents current issues, current situation. You guys have the World. Third card being possible obstacles that may show up for Capricorns in the month of January, the King of Wands there. The fourth card being about possible helpful tools this month, and the 8 of Cups came up for that. And the final card there representing the outcome for the month of January, and Capricorn's got the 3 of Wands. So immediately we can see that of the 5 cards there, 3 cards are Wands. So Wands are fire energy, you know, to do with passions, creativity, life force, motivation, power, spontaneity, inspiration, you know, really kind of active energy, matters of the soul. So right off the bat, it seems like you're still in this energy, right? Because the past energy, the 5 of Wands, is there. It shows up in the middle as a bit of an obstacle with the King of Wands, and in the outcome there, the final card, you've still got a Wands card, you've got the 3 of Wands. So there's some sort of perhaps creative project, creative endeavor, passionate thing you're working on or involved in. Maybe that is a relationship, but maybe it's also a work situation or a hobby or a business, anything like that that has a lot of energy, passion and fire to it, that is very central to your life right now. So on that note, the 5 of Wands is the card showing up for the past for you guys. So look, the 5 of Wands card is a card about disagreement, about conflicts, competition, tension, too many choices, diversity, sort of too many cooks in the kitchen. It's like there's there's sort of arguing and fighting, but without hurt, kind of thing, like no one's getting physically hurt, but there's kind of no real purpose or outcome to the conflict kind of going on. There's a lack of harmony. People aren't working together. So whatever you're involved, or you were, or I think you still are, involved in, what's been happening is that people aren't coming to the party together. Everyone has kind of different ideas about things or wants to do things in a different way. Maybe you've been feeling like no one's kind of listening to your point of view. No one's really listening to each other. Everyone's kind of stuck in their own belief about something. And it kind of split apart by that, and all like jostling for to be heard about something, or to think that something should be seen their way and it's not. You know, and it's kind of hard to know, is this real conflict, or is it kind of going on inside your head, or is it going on externally around you? Because this kind of is really wasting time, it's wasting your energy. Whatever this disagreement is, or whatever that can't be settled on, it's not, it's taking you away from the project or the endeavor or the relationship or something that's, and really everyone's kind of losing sight of what it's all about. And maybe you've been feeling that in some way in your life, that hey, we've lost focus here and we're kind of so deep in the mud that everyone's like flinging mud at each other and no one's just stopping and going, hey, why don't we come together, compromise, find some sort of common ground here, because there's not a lot of harmony going on. There certainly hasn't been. So that's where you've come from, if that resonates with you. Currently, though, the present situation, the card that showed up for you guys was the World card, which is a significant card. It's the last card of the major arcana, and it represents the end of quite a long journey. It sort of represents the cyclical nature of life, and there is a degree of rejoicing and success, victory. It's like the end of the journey, which was started by the Fool card at the beginning of the major arcana. So this is a card about closure, completion, accomplishment, things kind of coming together. It's a card about good luck. It's a card about the universe being on your side and looking out for you. What you want is out there, but of course you have to reach out and take it. It's a reminder card that all things are possible, but of course, and things are always working behind the scenes, conspiring to help you if you're on the right path there. It's quite a personal card, and it's about a prosperous ending in your life, and of course with endings come new beginnings. So I'm kind of wondering if whatever it is that you have been working on, you've certainly come from a place of conflict and disagreement and things not kind of working out, to now there's a sense of completion. Like maybe you guys, or maybe the group that you're with, or if you're just working on something by yourself, but I suspect you haven't. I suspect it's some sort of group project, whether that's a work group, family group, friend group, online group. Victory has been achieved, and there's the end of a part of this project now, and there's a lot of sort of happiness and joy in that, especially if things did get a little bit off track with too many people having too many different opinions about how things should go. That has ended, and some aspect of it has ended, and now there's this beautiful, bright new beginning that's showing up, which is I think wonderful timing with the beginning of the new year as well. Great way to start the year. Moving on to possible obstacles that may show up for Capricorns in the month of January. The card that came out for you was the King of Wands. So another Wands card, and this is kind of the ultimate Wands card, being the King. Kings are leaders. This king is a king of, charisma and passion and energy. He's often seen as quite wise, pillar of the community. Has a lot of energy about him, is often in the limelight. But the King of Wands can also be a bit strict, or a bit harsh, a bit jealous, can be a little bit bullying at times. So in the obstacle position, this could either be a person, male or female, but someone who has sort of the qualities of a leader, say someone you look up to, someone who's actually your boss, or someone, say, an entrepreneur who runs the show, who's quite educated, who's usually a pretty good, very good person, really, very devoted and loyal, but for whatever reason right now, they're getting in the way, perhaps, for you, and sort of just blocking things a bit. This could also be you getting in the way of yourself, and some of the negative qualities of the King of Wands cards showing up, say being a bit too harsh on yourself or restricting yourself somehow, and being a little bit too rigid in things and not allowing in sort of flexibility and softening up around that. There's a degree of holding yourself back, perhaps, in kind of having too much fiery energy, and obviously too much fire can be aggressive, can be can burn you, can burn people around you, can be quite say vicious in one way, is quite destructive. So whether this is a person around you or something going on within you, there's perhaps a need to reduce the flames a little bit there. Flames bring warmth, but obviously they can overheat and over-inflame things. So I guess if this is a person in your life who is like this, is being a little bit too inflaming, a bit harsh in their words, a little bit bullying, to steer clear of that person, or to have a conversation with them about what's going on. Maybe that's part of the Five of Wands and that kind of conflict and disagreement that was showing up in the past. Maybe there's still elements of that around now. Although it seems like with the World card there, things overwhelmingly have been resolved, but there's still maybe some residual differences showing up there, and some rigidity in refusing to see things from another person's point of view, or to be open-minded to things, and not being kind of flexible in that way. Maybe there is a sense of somebody or something being a little bit too overbearing, and you're feeling like there's that's an obstacle in kind of not allowing you to have perhaps the creative freedom that you would you like and that you need to have right now. And sort of very much, I think, flowing on from that, the fourth card there being possible helpful tools for you guys this month. So we're going from the obstacles to the useful things this month in January for Capricorn. You have the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups talks about an emotional situation that's quite overwhelming, and that you've really needed to and have chosen to, or you could choose to, walk away from. Cups being the suit of emotions, of feelings, of relationships, friendships, family. It is a card to, the suit, is about intuition. And in the Eight of Cups, in the image on one of the traditional cards, you would see the moon, and the moon card is about intuition, but it's about things that have been hidden and are not seen. So the Eight of Cups could also mean that there's the sense that something is missing. And I guess if this is in a helpful position, perhaps finding out what is missing from the big picture and making a choice to walk away from something, and establish perhaps better boundaries if there is still a little bit of this residual conflict. If there's a person in your life who is getting in the way, obviously having good healthy boundaries and deciding what to do about this would be very useful. The Eight of Cups can be about sort of disappointments, escaping, withdrawing, abandoning plans, abandoning projects, for good reasons, and starting something new, heading off in a different direction. So perhaps if something like that comes up and you're sort of thinking, geez, I need to make a bit of a choice here, and something is not working out, as disappointing as that may be, this obviously opens up the door for something new. And if you're active in that choice, sometimes we can feel like things happen that are way beyond our control, but we always have control over how we choose to interpret things, so you may have to make a bit of a choice here to enforce sort of good healthy boundaries, walk away from something, find what's missing, which I think can always be a really good, useful journey and endeavour to go on. So take your time around that, I think, to find something that may be more fulfilling and more emotionally satisfying, particularly if this is a passion kind of project that you've been working on. And on that note, the outcome card for Capricorn, you guys have the Three of Wands. So, this card is interesting because I think this is connected to the Five of Wands card, that where you've come from in the past, with a bit of group conflict going on there, or a project that you've been involved in where there's lots of sort of disagreements and stuff like that. The Three of Wands card is about strength in numbers. It's about cooperation, it's success. It's about problems and troubles ending, a ceasefire, you know, which is obviously a really good thing. It's a card too of waiting for your ships to come in after hard work. So it's a card about favourable returns. It is sometimes a card about a bit of disappointments, which we see showing up in the possibly in the Eight of Cups there, and the need to sort of let something go. But it also suggests that you are closer to your goals than you think. You're in sort of you've gone the distance with whatever, and the reward is in sight, and kind of on the last leg of the journey. In the Eight of Cards, the Eight of Cups, walking away from something, trying to find out what's missing. It's like walking away to greener pastures, letting go of something, walking towards mountains, and now you, with the Three of Wands, you're standing on top of a mountain, looking out all at the journey that you've been on this project, whatever you've been working on, and the ships have gone out, and now you're waiting for them to come in. You're waiting for the hard work to pay off, and it is paying off, and it will pay off. And I think you can, hopefully, you have a sense that there is a reward coming. You know, this is a card about cooperation, which obviously means cooperating with more than yourself, so other people around you. It's a card about being busy, being on the go. It's a strong card of returns, troubles. I think I mentioned that, sort of, you know, your troubles ending and things returning to a bit of calmness, and waiting for the rewards to come in. It can also be a card about independence and going your own way. So on that note, looking at the cards all together, maybe you're coming to a point now of, you know what, I need to go out on my own. I can do this. You know, there's just been a little bit too much bullshit. Say something was going really well, and then there have been dramas and just too much difference of opinions. That's kind of like weakening or diluting the original thing that you were working on, and there's obstacles there, and you're maybe choosing to walk away from that and branch out on your own, which is going to be successful. This card is indicating success, and there's already a degree of success showing up in quite a firm way, and that this is the last bit of your journey. Maybe it's about taking a bit of a leap of faith and going out on your own, you know, and getting support, I think, to do that. But essentially, maybe it's you know, it can be a card too of leadership and leading others on a journey that you have been on. Maybe you've really come through things, and now you're ready to impart some of that knowledge and rally kind of your own forces around you. You being put in the leadership position. Maybe this King of Wands is gone or needing to go and causing a lot of problems, and now you're being voted in. Who knows? But it is a good positive card and a good outcome, I think, for the month of January. On that note, what I'm going to do is shuffle these Dreamtime reading cards now, and I pull one of these cards to get hopefully tie things together, a bit more guidance, and to get the overall theme for the month for Capricorn for January 2019. These are beautiful cards. We'll see what comes through for Capricorns in January 2019. Thank you for these messages. Beautiful universe. The card you guys have is Sun, which in this deck represents fertility. Clearly a beautiful bright sun there, all the dots. It's a dot painting, very typical of Aboriginal Australian art, very detailed. So, it's on the front of the little booklet. So what I'm going to do is find the page about sun and fertility, read it out and we'll see if that resonates and ties things together. So in some Aboriginal cultural groups, the sun, rather than being associated with masculinity, is described as female. The sun was considered the great mother, giver of life and of warmth, and nourisher of the earth. Often these groups were matrilineal societies where knowledge was passed down from mothers and aunts to the next generations. The sun is associated with warmth and nurturing, the fertile womb, and the mother, the one who births new life. The sun promises a second chance and is a warming reminder that tomorrow is another day. In the morning, the sun will rise and a brand new day will begin, full of potential and warmth. Australia is a harsh continent and often affected by long periods of drought. At its most dangerous, the sun can burn. I think that's really interesting because you've got a lot of that Wands energy, that fiery energy, and I did talk about possibly being burnt. Too much fire, too much heat. So I'll just say that again. At its most dangerous, the sun can burn, dry out, and kill livestock and leave the landscape barren. This is a reminder that it is not possible to live continuously in the light and the warmth. You must also spend time in the darkness of night and the cooling retreat of the shade. Often the best times to benefit from the sun are to connect with it at sunrise and sunset. These times, when the sky glows with colour, are a very special time for personal reflection and promise. Interesting, huh? The sun, the heat, the fire, the flames, the wands coming in here too. Wow, maybe you guys really have felt burnt. Maybe you burnt out. Maybe you have needed to walk away from something. We see there with the Eight of Cups, and that is a healthy choice for you, and to go out on your own. Perhaps the sun, and they talk about fertility, which is the birth of new things, obviously fertile. I think there is something that is still very fertile and alive, carried on from the past, from a past project or creative endeavour or relationship or work situation that's taken you on a journey of which some of it now is completed, and there's kind of this, where do we go to now? And you're like, you know what, maybe I'm going to go out on my own, and I'm going to lead the way possibly with this, which is, I think, terribly exciting, especially for the start of a new year. So Capricorn, with your beautiful grounded earthy energy that you guys have, I think you guys are very hardworking naturally and very ambitious, and probably quite entrepreneurial and business minded and very practical. So if that is you and this resonates, good luck, all the best, very exciting stuff. Thank you so much for listening to this, and hopefully I'll see you all again in February.